Hello everyone, welcome to Module 9 Case Study. I'm Justin Haney. I'm very excited tonight because, like Dan, this is my very last module of the Master's Program for Building Administration. My goal is to get it done here in 15 minutes and not have to do a second video, so I'm going to hustle through. If you hear any ruffling in the background, we do have a little bit of company tonight. So hopefully he stays quiet back there. For those of you that are just starting the program or not far along in, there's one little thing I'd like to say. Just my biggest thing that I've struggled with is recording and giving presentations basically online. There's something about my voice that I don't like. I think there's a thing behind it that you hear your voice differently recorded than how you normally hear it. And there's times we all stumble through our presentations and struggle with them. Biggest thing is just battle through it. There were so many times that I would record a presentation and delete it and record it again. Just battle through it and just keep on going and keep on trucking. You'll be all right. So section 1, we're going to go over the case summary situation. Kim, myself, is assistant principal at Triscuit Middle School. Students have been scoring poorly on state assessments, particularly the writing portions, short answer. Again, I'm Kim, the assistant principal. The other administration is never mentioned, but we'll address that here briefly. Staff, majority Caucasian, white staff. Students, we'll cover them here in a minute. Families and community, not very involved. It's Triscuit Middle School. It never specified a state. It's 7th through 8th grades, 650 students, 80% African American, 65% low socioeconomic. Staff is unwilling to embrace digital learning right now. There's been an effort on my part to get it going, but currently not happening. Said low parent involvement again. I think only 20% of families showed up for parent-teacher conferences. We are in our second year of the school improvement program for AYP. No authentic assessment or culturally responsive curriculum right now. And again, the kids are struggling with the writing assessment portions. Legal and ethical issues. Again, we're in year 2 of AYP. We are considered a school in need of improvement. We are year 3, if it would come to it. Low-income families would have to be offered a supplemental term of education so they could basically pull themselves out of our school, go all online. If it happens year 4, there's going to be corrective action. Staff could be replaced. A new curriculum will be necessary. Year 5 would be a complete school restructuring. Our school could basically be closed down, repurposed. So we definitely do not want to get to that. Ethically, we're not meeting the students' and families' needs in our community, either culturally, equity, or academically. There's kind of some insubordination from staff that don't want to go with the flow of everything. Students are being pushed along before they reach mastery level, so that those foundation skills in your math and sciences aren't there, and then they're being moved along. And basically, there's no foundations going off what they're trying to learn in the future. And then little use of non-academic activities. There's no mention of what activities are offered right now, so we got to dive into those and try to figure out how they can help our school. Section 3, we're going to synthesize. The school is not meeting the state achievement level or the digital cultural learning needs of our students. The staff has been unwilling to change their ways of instruction despite efforts from administration. Section 4, we're going to look at the facts again. Myself, assistant principal, other administration. There's got to be a head principal. The staff's unmotivated to adjust curriculum. Again, the students, 80% African American, 65% socioeconomic. Families not involved. We're at the middle school level, 7th and 8th grade, 650 students, 80 staff. The program curriculum is not meeting student needs. That's the big, major, number one thing. Teachers are usually using just mostly lecture-based instruction. We're not living 100 years ago. We got to figure out a different way to do it than a pencil and paper. Traditional assessments are still being used. There's no authentic data to go off of. and then some unknowns that we're going to cover. The background says other interventions have been in place that were in year 2 of improvement, but it doesn't specify exactly what improvements have been put in place. We don't know what semester we're in, which could kind of affect our program implementation when we want to do it. And then our principal, we don't know her thoughts on opinions on everything that's going on. So we'll have to kind of meet and figure out what's going on there. And then again, there's no non-academic programs that we offer. There's one of those stumbling points I talked about. Just fight through it and just keep moving on. We're going to review and prioritize. We're going to look at the parents. We got to find a way to get them involved. We got to get our school culturally responsive. Our curriculum definitely needs to be addressed. It's time for a change. We need to figure out what's going on with administration, whether our principal's on board with this. We got to have his backing. He's got to be part of the program too. We got to utilize my skill set. I'm technologically advanced. I have a lot of endorsements on technology. I have good assessment development skills. We got to find a way to use those. Our teachers, like I said, shouldn't look like it did 50 years ago. We need to support them, give them professional learning, teach them ways that they can be good teachers. There's never been a teacher that got into education that didn't want to be a good teacher. So we need to help them in doing that. What technology can we get them? What state funding can we provide? Since we are a low socioeconomic, there's different grants and different things that we can get to get digital technology. We're going to meet with a principal. We said that several times. Our staff survey, and we're going to put that out to get their feelings on technology, what they're using, what type of assessments they have, their feelings and comfortability with technology, cultural responsive learning, and their honest opinions with our curriculum, how it is. We're going to look at 4 options: direct control, which administration would pick, plan, and implement the new curriculum with no teacher input. Option 2, directive informational. Admin would offer choices for the teachers, and the teachers would choose from them. Collaborative, admin and teachers would meet, weigh out all the options, and then select the best choice. And then option 4, non-directive, teachers would basically pick, plan, and implement all the curriculum with no administrative input. We're going to look now at each option a little bit. We're going to look at the pros and cons. First, let's look at directive. So basically, some pros we're going to get from that would be we're getting exactly what we want. We're putting the curriculum in. We'd be able to get that technology, cultural responsive, personalized learning, basically fitting the needs of our students that we know what the data backs on it. There's no need to waste time on staff meetings on figuring out what we want to do. We're just going to put it in place and we're going to do it. Some cons, it's going to hurt relationships. We've already kind of tried this once based on the information and the reading, and we've put in some technology and staff haven't used it. So we're not getting buy-in from staff. They're not getting that ownership. There's no autonomy, no transparency. This is definitely not an option I would go with. Second option, the directive. We're going to pick different options, basically lay out different options that would be digitally literate, culture responsive. We're going to have all those things in them, but we're going to set them up in different ways, give staff options to look at, and then pick them. It's going to take a little bit of time, but not as much as some other options. Staff would feel like they somewhat have a choice. Some cons, staff may disagree with the options. And if the best option that was selected isn't their choice, they may not be on board. Administration is not really part of the team building, staff kind of relationship when they're discussing everything. We're just giving them options and letting them choose. They may still not buy in after all that is said and done. That is a viable option. Option 3, the collaborative. So admin, staff are all going to have input. The relationship parts are going to be built. All options and opinions will be looked at, weighed at, looked at. It's going to be beneficial towards school improvement, student learning. Staff's going to be able to ownership in it and reflect on school. It will reflect into school culture. Some cons, definitely going to be a timely process. It's going to take time. It's going to have lots of meetings and different things that we're going to look through. Some might still be stuck in their ways even after all this is said and done. Option number 4 would be the non-directive. Staff would buy in. They'd have full ownership in it. It'd be all their choice. It would empower them. Some cons, open up a big can of worms. It could go poorly. They may pick bad ideas. The changes we want to see may not happen. There could be kind of a lack of leadership, lack of problem solving, and then kind of make me look bad on my end, just in the fact that I'm kind of letting them all do it and I'm not taking any part of the work on it. So it's going to hurt relationships. My choice is going to be the collaborative curriculum. For all stakeholders, I feel like this is the best option. Relationships are going to be built on all levels. Staff's going to have buy-in and ownership. Administration's still going to have that input and needs to get the things done that needs to happen. Team efforts towards the school improvements to student learning are going to happen. It's going to be data-driven. And then we're going to still build that digital literacy, culturally responsive curriculum and assessment practices into them, and I'll kind of explain how we're going to finagle that. Step number 1, we're going to meet with the principal and make sure we're all on the same page there, because we need his or her support just as much as I'm going through on this. It's got to be a team effort. We're going to meet with our building leadership team, and we're going to basically put together a presentation that's going to be data driven on why we need a curriculum change. We're going to present that in step number 2 to our staff. We're going to cover the data, why we're not improving. We have no assessment data on writing or literacy. We're going to use a team approach on it. We're all going to work together for school improvement, and then we're going to kind of leave the meeting at that, and I'm going to take over, and we're going to go over some non-negotiables. This is where we're going to get the parts that we absolutely need in there while still letting the staff have their choices on things. We got to be getting families involved. That's the cultural responsive part. We got to be 21st century learning. That's going to get the digital literacy involved. And then mastery is a must. We must have kids building that foundation before they move up to the next level. That's going to be help with competency curriculum, assessment practices, and a little bit of personalized learning there. We're going to send out weekly curriculum articles. This is just going to keep staff kind of thinking about curriculum and get them to kind of start thinking of ideas of how we want to change and improve our curriculum. Then we're going to meet on a professional learning day, and we're going to build that curriculum assessment. We're going to restructure and design it. So break into groups. We're going to restructure that process. We're going to go over, it's not an overnight process. It's going to take several weeks, days, months. There's going to be ups and downs with it. Big things that we need are going to be rubrics, standards. It's got to be data driven. So we're going to look at all those options, what we have for culturally responsive, digital literacy, competency curriculum, and assessment practices, and make sure we have all those things in there that we need. And then we're going to implement a plan once we have that curriculum and everything designed and built. Ideally, we'd want to start implementing this into a new school year. That's going to help teachers kind of have that summer to get their curriculum all set up and get things ready to go. This is going to be a second order change, so it's going to take time. There's going to be struggles. There's going to be difficulties. Be prepared for that. These major changes don't come easily. Stay transparent, tenacious, and supportive of your staff. Section 10, some concluding statements. I'll leave it here for a minute to let everybody read. I won't read through them all. And then references. Good luck to everybody. It's been fun. Have a good one.